What is up, guys? MACABESPEED coming at ya. Great episode today, dedicated to something I know a lot of you guys out there know and love, the Bug Assault bug gun. Now, to the manual YouTube reviewer who will definitely be looking at this video, it's just the way of the world at this point. There's no firearms nor pellet guns even featured in this video. Strictly this Bug Assault shotgun that you see in front of you that takes strictly table salt for the purpose of ridding your home of flies. Please be objective about the review. Have a great day. For the rest of you guys who are interested in seeing exactly what this episode is all about, we're going to be turning this into the absolute best Bug Assault shotgun on the planet. Now, sometimes it's not so much where you end up with your journey, but where you begin it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look exactly how this is in front of you currently. It's the V3, added a very feeble attempt at a rail. There was some, just basically drilling through the top of the casing and adding some fasteners as well. Not the best way to do it, but it is very functional at this point, and I do trust it. If I had an optic up here, I could probably hold the entire assembly off of the optic, so I do view it as secure enough for the crazy recoil that this thing generates, Up front, we do have the clamp-on style tri-rail. Typically, most people would associate with an actual firearm shotgun. Some of these accessories just translate so well, it's impossible not to use them instead of going ahead and reinventing the wheel, right? As you guys probably saw in that previous clip, I do have this really great laser donated by Jim S, and it's been absolutely spot on until recently. I don't know if I bumped it, if I moved it, if something happened internally, but I haven't been making hits, especially in that wolf spider case. Today I want to go ahead and see if I can go ahead and really push the creative and tactical limit of what's possible with the Bug Assault shotgun and see if we can come up with something cool together. I don't have any footage, pre-prepared. This is a journey we're going to take together, and hopefully it'll come out cool. Otherwise, you guys may never see this. No one knows, right? Here we go. Do have a stack of parts over here. Most of these parts being sourced from the Hatsan Invader that was turned into an FX recently. That video is being released shortly. Now, the second piece of the puzzle I kind of wanted to make work was this folding stock. I really think that part of the problem when it comes to the Bug Assault setup itself is a lot of people hold it in different positions every time they go to take a shot, potentially throwing their accuracy, mine included, off when they go to pull the trigger. I want to get out of that lifestyle, right? Let's shoulder it like a man. Let's get a pistol brace if you're a Californian, and let's make this thing work, right? I have some ideas. I think they're going to work. I hope it ends up playing out cool for us. Now, the very first thing that you're going to notice about this specific folding stock is the fact that it's got these threads on it. Now, I didn't want to go ahead and thread directly in to the backside of this Bug Assault just based on the fact that I don't think that's going to have good purchase long term, and it's probably going to fatigue and break on me when I need it the most up against a terribly large monstrous wolf spider, like I said, as we saw in that short. I mean, I was legitimately nervous when I couldn't find that thing for a moment there. So I want to be able to be effective with this thing and not have it break on me in the field. Having said that, found this old sprinkler in my garage, and I was like, dude, that thread's close. Solid, guys. That's super solid, and it's super at the right price point for what I'm trying to do, right? If I'm home 10 o'clock in the morning, middle of the week, probably not that lucrative of a thing to do with my time, right? This, already owning all the components, it's checking all the boxes for me as far as filling my time and keeping it cheap. Having showed you guys all the parts that I want to go ahead and use for this up to this point, I think let's go ahead and lay out how we want to go ahead and apply them. Now, I definitely can see the width difference here, and I know that this forearm is never just going to slip around this Bug Assault, so I'm not even going to try. What I am going to do is vertically split this thing and see if we can use the two halves, even if they get epoxied or glued to the sides of these as kind of like that AK style sling over rail mount, as opposed to trying to make it just a full forearm sleeve style. As far as this little sprinkler is concerned, I'm just going to cut this whole smallish adapter piece off here 100% because that's what it threads into. and then use this big old unibit to go ahead and drill like a perfect size hole in the back of it. Glue the plastic of the sprinkler to the plastic of the bug assault, right? Now I've got a threaded adapter. That's gonna make it easy for me to go ahead and install this guy and really steady my shots in those spider moments, right? It's gonna matter at that point. I think this is gonna be a cool install, guys. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, after a little bit of cutting, a little bit of failure, small headaches, I think we've gone ahead and got some good success out of what we were trying to do here. A little bit of sanding, resorting to the skill saw, all in all, good cuts, not that bad. It's not perfect, but I mean, this is a bug assault gun, right? So it's not meant to be 100% perfect. I think the big win for us was coming out with this adapter so clean. Before the bandsaw took a shit, like you guys saw in the footage, this was able to be produced, and this really is the crux of the whole thing, right, as far as getting the stock on. Enough dilly-dallying with that. I think it's time that we go ahead and try and just drill a hole and send it on home. I don't know if there's stuff back there or not. I'm gonna open it up and find out. I know this is a longer episode for you guys. I'm already looking at the footage count, but by the same token, I think there's people out there who want to see this. Alright guys, so I kind of sent that one on a wing and a prayer without doing any internal checking, and actually did run into an internal component. So I hope this all works at the end of the video. I think the best way to do this is to adjust my point of aim slightly and get a 1-inch hole saw to try and accommodate this little adapter. So we achieved a win in the sense that we do have a perfect penetration along with my reminder of failure here, but I also realized that I cut a support post. So that may be something that plagues us long term, but otherwise I feel like the whole mechanism itself is undamaged. Okay. Let's see if we were successful in the one thing we wanted to do. Oh dude, we were. This is going to for sure legit work. Little tiny bit of sanding and this is in there like swimwear. Alright guys, we're all back together. We've done some minor sanding here to go ahead and get this adapter just slightly better fitting, and we're ready to go ahead and do this as far as installation is concerned. First thing I want to do is make sure it still shoots so I'm not doing a dead project here. Alright, let's see what happens. Everything holds, everything seems to be fine. Yeah, no, this totally works for sure, 100%. I think the next order of business, now that we've validated the function of it, is to go ahead and install the adapter. Dude, if everything clears here, that looks very, very, very promising. With no glue and just a little bit of looseness on the fasteners, you can see that there's a pretty good fitment there between that adapter and between the back of the bug assault. So what I'm going to do, knowing that good fitment exists there, is I'm just going to put a small alignment notch on the top of it so that I know which way to go with it, and then probably go ahead and put some glue on this piece itself and then install it and then clamp it in place. Probably going to be the best way to do that. Once it's in place, I'll hit it on the outside once again. Gorilla Glue, you know, no shortage of cut and paste style welding here, but I think it's going to be a good result once it's all said and done. Having made that first initial mistake, I was actually pretty concerned that this project was going to go towards the dumpster instead of go towards the YouTube Hall of Fame, but now having seen the turn it's taken, I'm quite confident. The stuff the Bug Assault is actually made out of seems like the type of stuff that you could super glue to. Having built model cars and such, I feel like, oh, where's my tool? I feel like this is definitely the style of plastic that adheres well to glues. You can kind of see the alignments pretty straight on this guy. I'd like to see it more like this, while it's still kind of in its liquid format. Because chances are, knowing my channel, I'm gonna put gobs of JB Weld on this thing. Realistically, guys, it could have gone way worse than that. After this goes ahead and sets, I think I'm definitely gonna go ahead and do what I said as far as case the thing in JB Weld and hopefully maybe patch that hole a little bit. But other than that, I am happy with how this adapter came out. Let's go ahead and switch gears and see if these foregrips fit. This is so sick. I did not know it was going to look this good on it. Oh man. Oh, I got my hand all in the glue. I like to mix up really small batches with this, and I'm kind of just using the JB Weld up here as an epoxy to kind of like locate it in place before I go ahead and actually put some glue through these holes and at the ends of it here. I don't need to go crazy with this stuff. This Gorilla Glue is pretty tough stuff. Go ahead and mix up just a little bit more of the JB Quick, do the same thing on the other side, and then I'll go ahead and add the super glue and then clamp it in place. I like to really go in somewhat small batches with this stuff because it does set up quick. They say JB Quick on the label, but it's very understated. This shit does set up on you typically before you're ready for it. This is exactly how I want it. Sometimes, guys, the best thing that you can do with a project like this, and you really want it to turn out nice, is bless it with your patience. One of the most common mistakes that I see people make when it comes to these adhesive, glue, or epoxy type projects is just not giving it the time to cure. So making sure that you really do your due diligence as far as trying to get this thing to really set where you have it intended to be at, it's going to pay dividends in the long run. Now the cool thing about having been patient up to this point though is we pretty much get to act like a kid in a candy store with all of our new rail space at this point and every single accessory you've ever wanted to see added to this. Let's get right into this, guys. I think the biggest thing that everybody's mind's kind of going to is that foldable stock. I'm not going to keep you waiting. Let's go ahead and see how it looks. Oh man, I thought I broke it, but it was just the stock release itself. Can I go all the way around one more time? No, it's kind of going to stretch the machine there. This looks good. Oh, this is going to be perfect, dude. This is going to be awesome. This is by far the coolest Bug Assault gun I have ever seen or shouldered personally. This is a bad ride. I've spent no extra money on this thing so far, knock on wood. Everything still functions. This project has not yet gone off the rails. I'm very impressed here. But can I do the... it's kind of solid, no? Dude, this is a solid start. This is a spirited start here. As you guys probably noticed, I did go ahead and put the tri-rail and the laser on just to go ahead and locate it based on the fact that I wanted to make sure that everything fit with these cool forearms. And it looks like it just nests in there absolutely perfectly. Yep, every single tactical loadout ought to have bipod. This is no different. It'll look good when it's folded forward. Dude, this thing keeps getting cooler and cooler and cooler and cooler. It's for sure going to completely scare the manual reviewers with all these cool parts on it, but at the end of the day, it's just a Bug Assault that kills flies. When I first started thinking about what I was going to actually put on this top rail, I was thinking about this Tony red dot that I recently reviewed, did some cool stuff with on the channel. However, at this point, having seen just how cool it is, I think it's imperative that I add the SUISUN top of the line gold dot here, fully encased reflex sight with the titanium flip to side magnifier. Nothing less than this will be acceptable on such a cool build. This is a bad ride. You know, honestly, as absolutely sick as this setup looks, I know it's full on 100% overkill for the entire rig, right? I mean, not only is it like the better part of $800 for this optics setup, but it's also putting some stress on this top rail. I think we will go with the original plan of the Tony optic. Not terrible. This is not terrible. And I think for what I'm trying to do, I think this is going to be perfectly at home and perfectly suited. Much more realistic than putting $800 on a $49 gun. Ooh, this is a big field of view too. This is perfect for bugs, dude. It's perfect. Nice bright red circle. It's gonna really work great for what I have in mind for this too, right? Like, I don't actually expect to be engaging flies with the hollow sight. I more expect to be using it as a targeting computer of sorts. What I want to do is I want to set up a green laser and then go ahead and put that green laser dead nuts on at 18 inches, depending on what the spread looks like. Might back it off to 12 depending on what the patterning looks like, but that's going to be the next video. No matter what, when that green dot of the laser hits the center of the reticle in the hollow sight, I should always be on target and know I'm at that optimal distance away from target to be effective. To put it more simply, if I have a laser here that's sighted in for 12 inches, and I also have the reticle here sighted in for 12 inches, when those 2 points intersect, that's gonna for sure be on target. Go ahead and add our green laser at this point. Nice bright green laser. Other side rail. That's gonna be the home for the flashlight. I'm going all out. If I have an accessory, it's going on this shit. Bad to the bone. Pressure switch, laser, red laser, green laser, all the lasers, 54 lasers. I'll go ahead and set this green laser up here for 18-inch engagement, and then the red laser underneath here for that closer, you know, 8 to 12-inch engagement as well. And we're going to be able to see exactly where each one of these hits tomorrow on the foil when I go ahead and film the patterning video. I've been wanting to pattern this ever since the infamous spider incident, but you know what? I think tomorrow's really going to be the day. And I have no place to really put my pressure switch right now. Even though everything is kind of somewhat cattywampus at the moment, I think I have got to just cycle it and see how it runs. Oh. This is cool. This is cool, dude. 100% worth the time invested today. This is great. It's absolutely every bit as heavy as a 16-inch barrel. But you know what? Definitely think that it's weight well spent based on the capabilities that we now have in our bug extermination rifle. I think it's going to be a great place to go ahead and end today's video. But if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe for more with that notifications button so that you can stay current on the channel as well as when new videos come out. If you really like this video, make sure you share it so that somebody else can see it. And I'll catch you boys in the next one.